Understanding the equations of us is all the aspects and how we use our system. It's all levels of the YHVH. What is Y vector communication line centers? It's position location of how. How becomes all line the velocity. Velocity becomes all levels of home base. That's the true understanding. What is the intention? What is the will? What's the force? What's the creation? What's the location? What is the purpose? Okay. We did a very powerful connections all levels on TikTok when I was going live, where we were in deleted program location to its high system. I'm not going to say it because it's going to delete the program location. So it's important you understand that you stay positive in all ways and forms. Find the result, okay, to the solution. All right. That puts you in a better position locations. Now let's start off in signals. Now we're going to go in a race day location. Code signals already set up all levels in YouTube line interference. And you can see my website. Go to About Me on YouTube. Click that. Go scroll down. You see my website. Take you right there. Website is a Space Command system. All right, so let's start off with locations. Understand what Y is. Well, it's not the Y. It's not this. It's not that. It's this. Y equals flux capacitor. How did I get Y equals flux capacitor? It's not this. It's this. So the Y becomes the H, and the H becomes the how equals operation. Okay? Now, understand the equal line center is position locations of north, west, south, and east. Diamond in position of directions. So in calculation, you understand the flux capacitor is all levels, right? This channels its position location of sonar in position of directions, what you're doing with the calculation, right? So to understand the calculations, how you are formed is understand the geometrics of you. Geometric is levels of shape of you, how your position of its directions, and everything through the geometry of you is the foundation. So let's get Y. Let's get where. Let's get when. Okay. Let's get who. Let's get what. Okay. Now, to understand this location, all this is a foundation of a geometry. Okay. Now, this equals, what do you think it equals? Right? All calculations, geometry. Circle its position, geometry. Now it's connected to E-line center in position of direction. So it's E equals geometry, which is this foundation. Okay. G is foundation. Okay. 2 is equation. All right. Now, do you understand why, where, what, when, who? Okay. Now it's all modified inside you. Once you understand that, you understand the foundations to its geometry, of its geometrics, of the geographical system, equals equation / travel. Travel is geometrics, highest line conditions of U through calculation of shape. That's the geometry of U, which is a foundation, which becomes its Y-line center. Y equals flux capacitor. Okay, that's the Y. YHVH. So understand that position, location of directions. You understand what that is. Y becomes the how, equals line connections, right? Equals vector. Okay. Overdrive. Now, when I say overdrive, it's opposite location of its directions, right? Now, once that comes its overdrive, it comes its position of velocity equals home base. Ooh, part line center. So, override, overdrive, run program. Truly stand, execute, initiate. It's all levels of you through an algorithm. Your whole body is nothing but an algorithm. You just have to learn how to set up through position locations of a website. You are position location of its directions. Right? That's why it's so powerful. Okay? It's incredible when you see these things in its position and direction. Okay, so I'm going to set the code signal, which is already set at position locations. we are automatically going to travel through all lines. Okay. Setting graphs of location as signals. Road graph location, road graph location, road graph location. Okay. 3 road graph centers. You guys are going to travel through the online center. Start here. Okay. Start up here at the top. Now it's in direction. You guys have to find your geometries. What are your shapes? What is your intent? What is the purpose? What is the why? The why becomes the how. The how becomes the velocity. The velocity becomes all line position locations of you through base. So you have to learn how to use that, how to travel through these things, through its equation. You have to find the equation, which is its levels of result. You become the solution to its result, to its situation. You see how I changed that in all levels of being positive, right? Positive every single day because you have a 7-day location, right? Through a 24-hour window, which is 1 day. So you understand the calculations, all levels of light of 12 lines and the levels of dark, which is night. Night sky interference position direction line centers times equation times pi. You can go through the y line center equals location to high line center times calculation times sequence times box square root. 2 vector line, 3 position, 4, 5, 6, or 7 line connection. Crossing Wigner locations to its moon, crossing high center line connection to weather pattern line center locations, and position location of directions. Open signal, closed front, line cross, box position, 2 vector line center, 3 line connections, 4 positions, 5 positions. Identification. So you truly understand how to use this through all levels of graph of you. It represents an all line signals. Okay. So as you start off position locations, it's going to be a lot of fun. Start. Now, when you go through this, try to understand what you want to create. What is the purpose? What is the why? What is the how? And then you understand what it is. What's the intention? Okay. Basic understanding is why you are creating these things through its purpose. What's the point of having a bat? Well, a bat is basically where you get a calculation, you want to hit a ball. You need a bat to hit the ball, right? So you want to get a home run. That's a thought. Now it's traveling. Now you get a home run. That's imagination. That's location right there. What you've already created, you already see in precognition, which is already ahead of time. Okay, so you're seeing something already that's done. You're seeing yourself hitting the ball. You're seeing yourself running the bases. You're seeing yourself coming home and getting a home run. That is phenomenal. Seeing things before they happen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of time. Now that all depends on you. How fast you're going through your clocking, right? What you want to create is all levels of you through the geometrics. The geometrics of you is shape. Remember that. The geometry is its foundation. Okay? And everything through its connections is the geographical system, which is AI position of you through mapping. Truly understanding is all levels of you. Why do you have a watch? Why do you have a clock? To tell time, to see time. Time capacitor, right? Tells time. Going through time. That's why you have a watch. So you can get to work, so you can be on time. There's reasons why you have that. Let's say you have water. This is water in calculations. Why do you think you have water? Where does water go? Water goes into a glass. All right, water's in a glass. What happens to that? This is you in position locations, all levels of you drinking the water. Right? There is the triangulation right there to its equation. There you go. So this is truly understanding why you have water. You put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. Bruce Lee. Truly understand that position location of its direction. Now, when you have water and you have a cup to create positions where you can drink. There's the equation right there. That's why you have water. Water contains substance in position of a cup. Cup becomes position locations to you, and you pick up the cup and you drink, right? So what's the purpose of having food? So we can eat. You see where I'm going with this? This is the true understanding how it all comes into the YH to its purpose. Now, I already said this on TikTok, but I'm pushing it so you guys understand how to use your YHVH. Okay? Because the Y always equals flux capacitor. Okay? Once you understand that, you can understand location of sonar. Once you understand that, you can understand position location of its grounds. Once you understand that, you can understand the weather pattern location east and west. Ooh-ah. 4-line signals and position locations. Now this, it could be alpha wave. That could be a delta signal. This could be a theta wave position locations, or it could be a mega location. All through diamond core line system. So why is it so important to understand the purpose of anything of creation? What's the purpose of me holding this? So I can balance what I'm doing through drawing or travel. So what's the purpose of having a pen? So I can write, right? So I can draw, so I can travel. So understanding you is all levels of you inside. And the only way to do that is to understand you in calculation. And the only way to understand that more is to look at you inside through all information, right? How you use is the connections to its Y. The Y becomes its purpose, and the purpose becomes its velocity of acceleration of time into its home base, which is its heart. So now you understand that because you have friendship, relationship, and partnership with yourself. So you don't look at this as a drawing, you look at this as travel. Right? That's what it is through perception. You understand it, and it understands you. That's yin and yang, guys. That's all that is. So, all right, so back to the travel. Get you guys set up in signals. Get your geometry setting set up as location, geometry line interference, location and directions. Times sequence times code times pi times line center times factor. Communication over trifactor interference. Indirect line centers and position location line conditions. Get them in time sequence. Okay, you guys are in time sequence. So you got your geometry set up in high interference. It's travel locations. Start here, crew line center, squad unit 1 and 2 position. Going into GFL, going into the rebellion location. Going to high line center, sending and position location ascension masters, communications line center, ascension gods. All right. So in direction line centers, crews and squadrons are going to be on the same road. All position locations, the GFLs and the rebellion are going to be the same road. And position location ascending and the ascension gods are going to be the same road in position and direction. All right. All right. So we're going to start the engine locations. This is all line center, modification line center. Moon's coming in position. There's the moon. And the sun line center is aligned rotations here. Moon and sun in position and directions. Now, you need a 3-line triangle in calculations. This is where you need all line center locations of security, which is Pluto, triangulation, right? There you go with the calculation. It's all set up. All right, so in position locations, this is where it comes. It's arrow line center. So we redirect signal location to the sun, position location to the moon, moon position location to the sun, back and triangulation locations, all levels at high center into Pluto. Security measures position directions to graph line center 1, graph line center 2, and graph line center 3 in position of direction. Okay? Now this opens all position locations to how you travel through locations or what you're creating through your travel location line system. All right, so let's say you got a fluctuation line system times sequence times calculation. 1 here, and 1 here locations, right? Okay, so I'm going to count down from 5, and you guys are going to travel, right, through your racing graph locations. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, initiate. All right, you guys are traveling. As you guys are traveling through a racing system location, to understand how to use your intention. What is your intention? Now you've created your line center geometrics. You understand the shape position of its Merkaba. You understand the tesseract location of its computer, and you understand align conditional levels to its tetrahedron, octahedron, tetrahedron, Orthogonal. A orthogonal high line in position location is a higher line shape position location geometry interference. Its direction locations to its y factor, communication of y lines, in position location a z line, in position location a line, atmosphere line. Its opposition location to bounce communication of a high line, its communication interference of a track line. Do you understand what I'm doing with the calculation? It's all levels of U inside through operation. Understanding the alphabetical system is all levels of U through friendship, relationship, and partnership. And that's the only way you can understand travel. Because you understand the why, you understand the how, you understand the acceleration, and you understand the home base. That's your purpose. That's your creation. That's your will. That's your force. And that's your location. Ooh-ah. All right, so you guys are going in position locations. I'm going to set up high signals. Now, I really want to get into more line conditions of crop circles. We have to really focus on these things. It's mostly understanding because that we have the rainbow children and they're setting position, location, and directions. So I really want you guys to understand how to get into a hologram system, line conditions of youth, and line rotation to all line connections, all levels of travels, and how to use your Merkabah interference position of directions. It correlates this high line rotation to its calculation, to its position, right? So it's knowing exactly what it's doing. And when you look at these things, you can see it's intelligence, right? Intelligence here, come in position locations, all right? Here and here, position location. There's the intelligence. See? That's the intelligence. You are the intelligence of what you're doing. That's the intention of its foundation. The foundation, the geometry, the physics 101, right? The geometrics is its shape. Very basic, very principal system of equations here, guys, right? The geographical system is its map to its location. Hooah, right? Simplifies everything. That's the basic principle of purpose. You can remember that. That's why you guys have to understand what it is. Because you are traveling through everything through communication, everything that you see through perception. But you have to understand its relation of its friendship and its relationship and its partnership. You understand you first, then you understand everything else to its equation. Because there's always, always, always a solution to a situation. Okay? So, setting up position or anything high center, really understand these things. We all start with this. E equals mc squared. Let's start with that. Mc squared. Okay? It doesn't have to be this. Right? It doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be that. It can be this. It can be anything. So it's all about understanding how to put this all together. Because what is the intent? Why are you doing this? What is the purpose? The why becomes the how, and the how becomes the travel, and the travel becomes its base. Hooah. So you got the intention, you got the will, you got the force, you got the creation, and you got the location. Because that's all we do every day, is traveling through the mind of imagination, which correlates online center interference. So if you're waking up to signals in the high-line center to astral travel interference position of directions, and you're going into lucid dream interference, what's happened through its equation? You're back clocking line center into online rotation interference. 12 is over here, position location. 12 is over here, position location. 12 is over here, locations. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're back clocking and creating line center of negative line rotation interference, right? So it's truly understanding that you have to be cautious in what you're doing through perception through your astral travels. So if you're in perception and you're outlining its signals, you're not in position locations. You're back into a dream set. Uh-oh, how do I get back in calculations? I have to understand the clocking system, right? So that's a true understanding. Well, let's start off locations. So as you guys are traveling. All right. So it's going to be a lot more fun because you guys are racing too. So we're on a 24 signal, right? I'm sitting in a chair. I know what my intention is. My intention is to get to where I need to go, which is this location. I already understand the intention. I already stand the geometrics. I already stand the geometry. I already stand the communications to its mapping signal. AI position of a mapping location, which is the geographical system of GPS of you. You need a location. You can't just be surfacing anywhere, because when you're creating a thought, it's done. That's its location to its equation, right? All right, so let's start off with 24 signal. Here we go. Vibrations are coming in. All right, here we go to 48. Whoa, 72, 144, 244, 644, 844, 1044. All right, so I'm at 1044. We're going extremely fast. I'm going to go back to 24. Done. That's it. Balance. I didn't go back from 1044. Okay, to 944 to 844. I went there to 24 right away. I time jump instead of going do. So it's all about understanding to fluctuate the balance, position, location to your intention, because your intention is going forward and your intention is going back. Forward, backwards, backwards, forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. You understand? So it's truly understanding that you have to feel these things. That is your intention. Senses, sight, hear, sound, taste, feel, touch, right? All your senses combined into one through a clocking system of 24 positions per second. I just showed you what it's like to actually go through a clocking system. Okay, you start off at 0 and you work your way to where you want to go. That's your location. That's your intent. Now you understand the will. What's the will of force? Acceleration, velocity. Okay. 2, it's home base, right? YHVH. Now you know. So it's very important to understand these things, because it is a purpose to understand why you're in this position in the first place. Is you want to communicate inside, which communicates everything outside position. Because you're communicating all levels of you inside, and you understand everything outside through its atmosphere. Right? The triangulation is everything through formation. Okay? And that's how you get everything done through its equation. That's how you really communicate with 2 or 3 or 4 people at a time. Right? You got a triangulation of 4, you got a triangulation of 5, but you need the why, you need the how, you need the acceleration of time, which is its velocity. That vector is its position location, is a y vector location, to its location, to its base of its heart system. Okay? Which is very powerful. So, all right. How's everybody doing? Little Jess, Jill, Don, Terry, Michael, Airbender, Chris, Barak, Barbara, Ambi, Heather, Pam, Lindsay, Gypsy, Brock, Olivia. Yes, pre-flight checks is always important. Check, 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 check. Done, 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 done. Good, you're there already. So I just show you how fast you can go from 24 to 1044 and then come back from 1004 right to 24 and not worry about going. You have to understand how to accelerate and decelerate. Accelerate is decelerate is accelerate, decelerate, accelerate, decelerate. You see the difference? You have to understand the alphabetical system stays on that point location, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're going up, right? You're going up, right? The higher you go, the more you understand. So when you're sending in a box center, you're starting off position locations from here. You're going. Now you created it, but you start at the center point. You find the center point, which is creation of you and all levels of you inside. Right? That's mastering all communication to the center point of you is laser direction line connections. How you see things, perception, is all levels of travel, of the why, of the how, of the acceleration of time. And its base, its home base, is its heart. So this is where you don't get confused. You can accelerate to a location, right? Which is your base. It's in your heart. So it's all about understanding. It goes back to the heart, which is more into the future of its heart-line connection. That's why it's so powerful. So every time you go through YHVH, you're always in home, but you're in a future of another home location, which is its heart. Heart is in a hindline center to all timelines, all at once. Okay? That's how you recognize what the heart base is. It's your space command. Right? You're having trouble, back to the heart. Don't understand, back to the heart. You're confused, back to the heart. Right? You're lost, back to the heart. Everything is its equation, back to the heart. Too much thinking, back to the heart. You understand? Do you understand the process and the purpose of having a heart? Is all levels of a timeline of travel? Right? Do you understand the purpose of having you to understand you through correlation and division? Do you understand the calculation of a paradigm, the paradox, the polarity? Right? The impulses of you, the track centers of you, the emotions of you, the interference of you, the interfacing of you, the interlining of you, the interconnections of you, the interdimensional line, intergalactic system of you. What is the purpose? Communication with travel. That's the purpose. Then you understand YHVH through all levels of acceleration to get what you want through manifestation of creation. That's the purpose of living. That's the purpose of you understanding you. That's your intention. Right? So you are co-creating you, understanding you through acceleration, understanding you through space, understanding you through time, understanding you through telepathy, understanding you from everybody else of communication. The telegraphing, the telewaving, right? The telemonitoring communications, the impulse locations, the motion sensors, the kaleidoscopes of you, the mapping system of you, the calculations of you, the computer operations of you. It's all levels of you in balance. You just got to learn how to balance these things out. But you have to have friendship and relationship and partnership with yourself first before you can understand how to travel from its outline system, because you already know you're in line. Your inline becomes the outline, which is just co-creating. So whatever you create through your thoughts comes into your frame. That's it. Because you're digitalizing your system and you're trying to understand more levels of you, the computer graph. So when you're saying these things and you're trying to come out of the equations, people or anything out in line center will come to you and help you through its equation because you're allowing it. The center operation is you through the heart, what's put position location to its realm of travel, which opens up the signal through its sighting, to its hearing, to its voicing, to its flux capacitor, right? Transmitting, receiving, right? Now, understanding how to create position locations of a battery is all levels of positive and negative. One's this way and one's this way, right? So you had a calculation locations of one battery here, which is a plus line, and you got another battery here, which is a negative line, right? Negative and positive, right? Puts it in the box location. That's the geometry. In position location, the line system is always in a flux capacitor. It needs a flux capacitor up and a flux capacitor down to operate the system. Then you come into the center line connections, all levels. See the intelligence? So to understand that is understanding how to use it for the electrical system. There's so in two-way position locations. And then you can set up another position of flux capacitor on both line connections and activate its system location to its position. Then you can open up a portal. Oh, look at that. Just opened up a portal. Whoa, look at that. Now I'm going through. I see the position, location, and directions. Battery set up in high center. There's position. I'm scanning its portal, which I just finished opening. I'm going to go through, right? There I go. Ooh-ah. So now you understand how to create a battery. What does a battery do through creation? Well, it's all the intention through its water. It's all the intention through its air. It's all the intentions through its fire. And it's all the intentions through its ground, so its earth. Everything is created through purpose, guys. And that's how you live your system, through communication, of travel, of mechanism. Pretty wild, eh? So it's all about understanding you, all levels, and how you present yourself through your thoughts, right? Positive always takes over negative. Y vector line center interference of times calculation times pi times box center, box position. Allocate time switch interference of position location Hopf system. Everything is communication of travel. But you got to master yourself inside first. Because you'll never understand the why, which is the how, which is velocity of its base. Wow. All right, so just backtracking high center on interference. Every time you go into the past, make sure you guys always use things as a reference. And say, I can't do this. All right. How much travel is in there? I. That's you. That's you. I9 operation equals equation. Okay. I. C. Communication. Right? This is where you change can't into can. So you take out the apostrophe in position of travel and turn it into all line center locations of you trusting your system. So the can't becomes the can. Ooh-ah. So, and then the thing is when you say I can do this, it changes all levels equals its equation. Ooh-ah. See? That's how you travel. Changing can't into can. I'm just trying to show you guys, it's so easy. The simple thing is all levels of you and how you see yourself through perception, how you interpret your mind of thoughts. Change the way you do things, change your patterns, change your programs, change your rhythm. Structure in a higher line position locations, all levels through a clocking system. Right? Staying balanced with you is all levels of Y vector. Okay, because Y vector always comes equation locations to its flux capacitor. It's interesting you look at the alphabetical system, right? Y equals flux capacitor. So in position location, this is Y, right? The Y becomes flux capacitor. Flux capacitor. Here, down, right to the grounds, right? Your chakra system rotates up, opens up the crown. 8 signals in position locations. Sun comes in position, moon comes in position, antenna goes across stream, right? So try to understand how powerful you are. Is the knowing of what you're doing is already created through its location of its equation. Okay. Y vector systems upgraded. Yes. So that's the true understanding. Well, Y equals this communication line system. It position locations of 2 airline centers, one up position and one down position location. See how it's a squiggly line? Well, it's on line center location of its question, change the position location to an 8, right? So you get an 8 communication line system. 8 equals infinity. Okay. Infinity cross signal locations equals mind. Mind communication line centers equals brain interference. Brain interference location uses all line center placebo. See the triangulation? Hooah. 8 line center interference in position direction. Just showing you how to balance these things out, lines. Okay. It's very powerful when you understand more levels of you inside through your thoughts, because your thoughts are always traveling, right? T equals communication. So T can be anything: telegraphing, telecommunication, all right? Teleportation, transmitting, transformation, transmuting. It can be anything, but you have to be informed of what you're doing with your communication, because the X8000 comes in and scans your position. And if you don't understand the line center locations, you're going to get headaches and migraines because you don't understand the telegraphing of its equation to its location to its communication. So everything has to have an equation. We already know that. Done by equation. Done by equation is its geometry, which is a full cycle of what you've already created, right? It's like physics 101, quantums, quantum entanglements, quantum interference, how to get a position, location, a result to a situation, to its calculation of a maze. How do you go from one maze to the next? How do you resolve one issue to the next? How do you understand this thought to this thought location? How do we get out of this argument to this argument? How do we get out of an argument without creating its argument? Common sense, guys. The principal act is the position locations of its purpose. Is its why. Why is its how. How it's operated becomes a levels of velocity, which is travel. And it always, always goes back to its base, which is its heart. Done by equation. See, now you understand a little bit more how to travel through the mind of thoughts, through mind of equation, right? So this is how you see yourself with passion and compassion. Okay? I mean, you can travel through anything. You just have to understand that it's intelligence that you are communicating with. That's all. Because if you're not, it's going to hold you. Okay? It's like a large, hold myself in contempt. So, I'm just being cautious with your words. I mean, that's this basic principle to understand that position locations, right? You used to say blah, blah, this to your TV, and you start going boom, 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 boom. You're going to hurt your TV inside position locations. And now you got to get a new TV, all because you created your thought lines. And anything you do with electronics is affecting your avatar of what you just finished doing through this equation. You're hurting your system inside, which hurts the travel line center to its electrical system, which is its computer or its phone. And you wonder why your phone breaks down. You wonder why your computer breaks down, because you don't look at solutions. You are the solution. You are the travel. You are the acceleration of space and time through clocking. You just have to feel it. Feel the energies. Connected inside. Master the circuitry of you, the energies of you, the tracks of you, the information of you inside of you. That is very powerful, because you're starting to recognize who you are becoming is who you are now through memory. Memory helps you, always informs through school. What's the purpose of going to school? To remember who you are. Simple, easy, done. Simple, easy, done. Simple, easy, done. Don't complex your system. It simplifies everything. Put yourself out there. All right? Once you understand the inner lining, you go out of the outer box, and then you look in. So in position, location, of direction, so you understand these things. So it's all about you understanding your cycles. So it's all about, you're here. You start here, right? And then you jump out. And then you observe and you look back in. You don't jump back in because everything's changed. The geometry line center has changed. The circle rotation has changed. The box interference locations. Your thoughts have changed. Your calculations have changed. Your image has changed. So now you're observing, right? Because you know what you're doing, right? So that's the important you have to look at too. And this is all psychological of you and how you represent yourself through communication of your vessels, how to understand your shadow works. Shadow work, right? Ambi loves that. Somebody say shadow work. Somebody say timelines, because that's what Ambi's good at. And outline center interference. She's very informative. Airbender's good with waves. So calculation line system, right? So trying to understanding shadow work is everything of you. Trying to understand you through shadow work. Trying to understand you through the positive. Trying to understand you through the negative. Trying to understand you through perception. Trying to understand you through the avatar, through its timeline. Trying to understand you through implantation. Trying to understand you through your thoughts of wrongs and doings and rights and correction. It's all done from inside, right? So you are starting to recognize more levels of you. Live in the avatar of the physical line. Because you're in the fifth dimension of telepathy. Now, you guys are becoming more powerful now because your telepathy is more kicking in. And it kicks in more. It high-rises you more. Because you understand more. You're starting to understand the YHVH now. That is its solution to its position, right? Full cycle to its line connections, right? So you take shadow work equals, okay, solution. Okay, shadow work equals solution. Easy. And that's how you see yourself through the mind, because you wake up every morning. Whoa, powerful stuff. I'm not thinking positive. I am positive. I'm not becoming positive. I am this. I am that. Okay? There's no doubt in your mind unless you doubt your system through your thoughts. And then you realize that you understand the energy, but you don't understand the acceleration. But you understand the acceleration, but you don't understand the equation. But you understand the equation, but you don't understand the shadow work. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Is how to balance everything through energy and how you use all your senses into one. That's all you got to do. How you use your travels of communication. I get a little bit of instability. That's going to come back. See, it's coming back. See, triangulation is position. I'm just getting a little bit high rise here. Right, that happens too. So that's location is equation location. Right, travel. Everything's travel. Everything is travel. Communication of travel. Travel communication. Everything's balanced. Forward, backwards, backwards, forward. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can walk backwards and still be in balance because you understand how to communicate to the grounds of you. You understand the powers of inside of you. The powers of be is the powers of the mind. It's the power of thought. Right? So it's important to understand these things, how to travel through it. Okay? So I know whatever I say happens to me. Let me say that again. Whatever comes out of my mouth determines what happens next. You have to balance the avatar, and the only way to do that is from inside and all levels of the electrical system because it interlines its position of directions to its interfacing. You're interfacing yourself every single day and how you say things in your mind. That is your determination of what happens next. Right? That's what it is. It's all up to you. Nobody else. Only you. You are what you think. You are what you know. You are what you do. You are what you see. You are what you perceive. Okay? That's how you have to see yourself. All levels of being positive. I am positive. And even if I'm negative, I'm always going to take the negative engine on position location to its harmonics times equation times pi times root times box in position location to its equation. There's always, always, always a solution to everything that you deal with. Because if you look at things and you see it as a situation that you don't like, what are you doing? You are creating on top of creating. Instead, you should be finding a solution to the situation that you're in. Family, friends, anything that position locations. I need a better job. Well, how am I going to get a better job? How are you going to get a better job? How to travel through the mind of thoughts is going to get you a better job. I'm not saying going out and quitting your job and saying, you usually get 2 to 3, maybe a month notice. And all of a sudden you just say, what did I just do? I don't have a backup plan. You don't just do that. You don't just quit your job. You use your thoughts. You use your mind. You use the focus. You use the positive position. And then when you get that job through your co-creation, then you go to your boss and say, I'm giving my notice because I have a job, and you want to respect that depending on how long you've been working at that job, right? Because you don't want to leave your boss in loose ends. It doesn't matter how much you hate your boss. It's that you don't hate your boss, you hate yourself. So the reason why you hate yourself is because you don't know your situation you're in. You don't know yourself. Because you're still an outlying position and not in position of direction. And then you realize you gave your 2-week notice, and now you're working at the job that you just co-created. All through your thoughts of imagination to its phenomenon. Now it can fast track interference and you can get things a lot more quicker through abundance. Right? So we'll get more in that position location at all levels of directions. But I wanted to show you how powerful it is. The powers of be is the powers of the mind. Okay? And how you can get anything you want through its imagination. Anything you want. Nothing comes instant until you understand the purpose. Because the purpose becomes the why becomes the how, and the velocity positional comes in its home base. That's the intent. And why are you creating these things in the first place? Why am I living? What's the purpose of living? Let's start there. What is the purpose of living? To evolve, to co-create, to get what we want, not to live the position locations what we don't want. Right? That's a program on its own. Because you keep saying these things. And that's energy that's going somewhere that you don't want it to go. Because you're attracting bad things. Because you're saying bad things. Bad things will happen to you. Because you said that. It's energy. It's the intent of what you're creating through its force. And that force is going in back force. Anything you say negative is not going forward. But it's a beautiful thing. Because you need the positive and the negative to create a light. But the positive has to understand the negative. And then it comes into one, the flow of yin and yang. Hoo-ah. Balancing of everything is the center operation of you, of its equation. So, yes, I know, it's a very powerful class, isn't it? Cycles into a balance, into stepping into the timeline you created is amazing. That's exactly what it is. See, this is what you guys have to really understand. The interpretation is all levels of what you do next. How do I understand this? How do I understand that? And you realize, oh my gosh, I'm at a job that I want to be, that I've always wanted to be. And you're there. You're not going to complain. You're not going to question why. You're just going to accept it, move on, and live your life. Right? It's not the money you make. Okay? It has nothing to do with the money you make. It's how you live with the money you make. You understand? It's not the money you make. It's how you live, which is his co-creation. That's the most powerful thing I can give you. to everybody here. To understand you is all levels of you, of its equation. All right? So the structure of you is the diagram. The formula of you is the coordinates. You need the two because that factors its communication of trifactor, gives you times calculation of times pi. Right? People don't understand these things because they're always outside. They're not inside their heart. Your heart is the operation of its reaction, of its reactor, because it's reacting everything that you say. Everything that you say, every second, every minute, every hour, every day. It doesn't matter what you say. You're going to be traveling to what you co-created. And that is why it's so powerful. Okay? But you need the formula and you need the structure. Okay? You need the both to survive. To the left and the right hemisphere of you. That's a program location of its position already in its direction. Truly understand you positive line center, positive business location, positive thought line center, positive location, I'm going to get a car. I'm positive I'm going to get a position location of a job. I'm positive I'm going to get my bills paid. Positive, 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 positive. Right? Positive, 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 positive. Now, as soon as you go negative, you have to override the positive because the negative will take over the positive. You understand? You can't have a negative, 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 and just one positive. It's got to equal line. It has to balance. You can have negative, negative, positive, positive, but a positive will take it over. Right? So what is the next step? What's going to happen? Is it negative, negative, positive, negative, or is it positive, 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 negative? So it's truly understand how you use your thoughts of travel because you're accelerating to every single letter, number, shape, and symbol every single day. Every single day. It's the determination of what happens next. Okay. All right. Take you guys out of race lines, communication interference, position directions. You guys did extremely well through travels, all levels of the mind system. It correlates and helps you in all ways and forms, understanding high position locations of Y vector, communication trifactor. We'll get more into that, but it's truly understanding why travel is so important to you, right? Truly understand that you have to identify yourself in so many different variations of timelines into one position, into one location, into one time, into one activation, into one program. Ooh-ah. Okay? All right. Questions or comments, let me know. Talk to you guys later. Adios.